was the largest building in the Nebraska, because it had 86 rooms, completely luxury, and then it had a banquet ballroom downstairs.
Okay.
My name is Mitzi Johnson. I was actually born and raised in Kimball, but I've left a lot and come back.
Okay.
My brother has purchased the building for the second time. He did own it in 80s and did some restoration to it.
Okay.
And then when he bought it then, he looked into the Historical Society.
Yes.
And then now it is on the Historical Society registration. It'll be preserved, and anybody that buys it and restores it, they'll keep the reservation of it being restored and a monument to Kimball and Nebraska.
Wonderful. Now I'm going to give everyone a peek at what this building looks like today. And I can't show everything without moving my camera around a little bit.
Oh, you're fine.
But it appears to me on the outside, all of this brick exterior seems to be in excellent condition. I just spotted one little place over here on the corner where maybe that could be well, the mortar put back in there.
Right.
There's a term for that. I can't remember what it is.
Now we
I
also
suffer from momentary senile dementia or whatever, you know.
And this is all original. It has never through the years been redone.
Oh wow! Even this little cinder block extension here.
No, that was put
gotcha.
in the 80s, I believe, 80s.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
As a storage for it.
Gotcha. Now, Wheat Growers Hotel. Was wheat a big thing?
Yes, and it
in
still
this area
is.
of Nebraska at that time, and it still is.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, it's such a large building. What time period was it built?
1819.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow, I had no idea. It actually looks more modern than that.
Nope.
Now,
this was the largest building in the Nebraska, because it had 86 rooms, completely luxury, and then it had a banquet ballroom downstairs.
Okay.
It was absolutely just gorgeous. The parking lot, the old cars parked in front of it. I have pictures of those in there.
Wonderful.
And it's 4 blocks at that point of time is how large it was.
Okay. Now, let me point out to my viewers right across the street over here, and maybe I can zoom in a little bit where we can see that there is some railroad related equipment, and that is because the first transcontinental railroad is just right over there.
Right there.
Right there on the horizon.
Yes.
It's double tracked these days. So I'm just kind of pondering here. I suspect that the hotel was built shortly after that railroad was completed.
Actually, I do believe the same year it was completed.
The same year. That kind of happened in my hometown of Amarillo, Texas, too. The Fort Worth to Denver City Railroad went through and that area of the Texas Panhandle, and there were some businessmen in Denver City realized that it was going to be, that trip either way was going to take a train about 2 days. So they thought and then trains back then required a lot of maintenance.
Right.
And so they actually put the passengers off, so there needed to be some place for them to stay, and the merchants felt like, well, you know, if they're held over for very long, they need to have a place to eat. They might want to buy some clothing, or who knows, they might even want to buy some jewelry.
Yeah.
So that started Amarillo, Texas, all due to the railroad. And of course, back then with steam locomotives being fired by coal, you had to have a stop every 15 to 20 miles, depending on the terrain, to take on more water, essentially. And then a little bit further down the line, well, then you would have to take on more coal as well. And guess what?
Look at here.
Your brother told me something about this building that has sort of a secret involved that maybe not everyone might be aware of.
Oh, everyone's aware of it.
Okay.
It's called,
Well, he had mentioned that a specific type of person would know exactly what these symbols mean on the building.
yeah, it's called a speakeasy.
Okay. And where is that symbol in the building?
These little lines with the two going horizontal across
Okay.
them
Okay.
all around the building, that symbolizes that there is another room underneath the floor.
Uh-huh.
So anybody that was driving by looking at that symbol would know that there was a speakeasy down below.
Okay.
And during Prohibition, it was the hottest thing in this whole county.
Well, I'll say. And why would that have been?
Well, during Prohibition, there was no alcohol allowed.
Okay. But
You-
wasn't that sometime in the 20s? In the teens and 20s? If this was built in the late 1800s,
Yeah.
did they add that on
n-
during the Prohibition time, do you say?
No, they wanted people to know that there was a speakeasy itself down below,
Okay.
a lounge.
Okay.
And during that
Okay.
time, the lounge was accessible.
Okay.
That if they stopped here where the restaurant was, you could go down, you could have a nice meal, and you
Okay.
could have a drink with it.
And let me step over this way. I've got a lot of shadow on your face. There we go.
So it was anybody driving by just through our town, not even expecting to stop,
Okay.
would notice that sign. They would immediately stop because they knew
Know
that
that
they
there
could.
was a watering hole.
Right.
Okay.
And they could take advantage of it. And
Gotcha,
it's a
gotcha.
hotel. They could stay for the night.
Right.
So, and the rooms were absolutely plush, gorgeous. And the prices were, for the small rooms, I'll show you when we get
Okay.
inside.
Let's backtrack a little bit, and then we'll get ourselves out of this sun.
Okay.
We've got quite a bit of sun beating down on us here, and we'll just start doing a little bit more exploring. So then the Prohibition actually did come along, like I say, in the teens, 20s, into early 30s, something like that, and or the temperance movement, and then alcohol was
Right.
banned, and no one could make it, buy it, or sell it.
No,
Nothing
heavens
like that.
no.
So many places that had been saloons, one thing and another,
Were shut
they
down.
kind of had to take their business underground, more or less. And since we already had an underground watering hole here, there were some modifications that were made in order to, I guess, help officials think that there was no longer a watering hole available.
Right.
And you think that there is some evidence of some of that.
Yes. According to the legend, they had purchased 2 blocks down over an empty section of land and made it into a parking lot.
Okay.
Then Mr. Cunningham was very business orientated and he knew what kept his business going. So he had a tunnel built from that parking lot underground into the basement of the wheat growers.
All right.
That way the patrons could park their cars over there and go through the tunnel, which was also how they got the bootleg alcohol in.
Okay.
And he had his, I gotta get my dog.
Oh, okay.
Mia! She was going through the sticker patch.
Oh.
Let me see. Come here.
Help me out, Mama.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that pitiful little face there.
Just, oh, thank you, Mommy.
She's liking that loving and
There,
caring.
buds. Let me see your other one.
Now, do you think the depot, the train depot, would have been across the street?
It was actually closer to where the bridge is,
Okay.
and it was a beautiful
Okay.
depot there.
Which is not that far of a walk.
No,
it's less than
half a block.
Yeah, half a block.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So, and the full passenger trains came right through here constantly.
Yes.
So there was always trains,
Definitely.
always people.
It was the most traveled rail line, from what I understand, for both freight and traffic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
There were other rail lines, especially in the eastern United States. But this was its first railroad that tied it all together. Wonderful.
Yes.
We'll take a little bit more of a look around this side of the building.
See, I was wrong. There isn't another speakeasy sign on there.
Oh, no, there isn't. And you
Yeah.
can tell the roof line is lower over here than it is on the other side as well.
Right.
So that's definitely a billboard
It
on
is
the
a-
north side of the building, so all the railroad passengers
Can see
Uh,
what that symbol means.
Yes.
And they knew. That's not, in those days, that
Okay.
was the symbol to
Okay.
let the people know.
Well, I'm gonna have to start keeping my eye out for more signs
It's
like
amazing.
that.
I do too.
Yes, yes. Okay, and was there always sort of an enclosed little courtyard type area? do
No,
you
I think
or-
that this was put in the, what was it, the 50s
Okay.
with the new patrons, because they had patios, and they had, I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous out there.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Well, let's get out of this hot sun. I think it's
Okay.
supposed to get up to what, 97 today or 95, something like that?
Arizona was 122.
Oh, I know. It was 104 when I left Amarillo earlier this week.
When I left 5 days after I got there, it was 111, and everybody was out doing things